Ladies and gentlemen, Season 2 is officially around the corner for Warzone and Vanguard, and with it, we are starting to see some promotional material for it. Today, we got the cinematic trailer for Season 2. And as far as this goes, it's about time that we actually got some story regarding Vanguard and Warzone and how it all ties in together, and this is finally our answer to that. Now, there's some really cool tie-ins here with zombies, with Captain Butcher, and of course, the new characters as well. And in this video, we're going to first have a look at the trailer, the cinematic trailer, and then after that I'm going to break it down and explain to you a bunch of stuff that you may have missed within this trailer, because there's a lot here that doesn't quite make any sense, and there's a lot that if you just take a little bit of a closer look at it, it gives you a better explanation of what this is actually all about, and it once again ties into that Black Ops storyline that we have seen with Cold War in the previous Black Ops games as well, and I find that pretty cool. So without further ado, here is the trailer, after which we will fully break it down.
Intel from the island disclosed Nazis holed up in the Alps, waiting out the storm with some weapon called Nebula. I couldn't let them use it, whatever it was. So I called in the cavalry and put together a team. When it came to scaling mountains and hard, cold Nazi killing, Task Force Yeti had mastered both. Come back with the Nebula.
Oh, not at all. We'll see you soon.
Long live the Fourth Reich! Where's the baggage? Bloody hell! Get in!
So this cutscene starts out in the Alps, with Captain Butcher narrating it, which, by the way, I still think is ridiculous that he wasn't in the campaign, yet he's the character that we're following after the campaign. Yes, he's the person that put together Task Force Vanguard. It still doesn't make a lot of sense, but he talks about the intel that was found on the island, referring to the caldera regarding the Alps. Now, in the Alps, he says that there is a weapon called Nebula. He doesn't know what it is at this point, but we very quickly find out. He's also working alongside his fellow colleagues, which include Anna, Thomas, and Gustavo, which are the three characters for Season 2, and they are part of Task Force Yeti. Now, as far as the overall Vanguard story, these characters don't really matter, because Captain Butcher is the guy that put together Task Force Vanguard, but the other characters are just another task force added to the roster of characters. Now, at this point, we have our four characters who are then breaking into a Nazi compound. They are doing so to find and stop the production of Nebula gas. At this point, we don't know what Nebula gas is, aside from some backstory regarding zombies. However, we do get a very large hint towards this as our characters go in and walk down a hallway with a door at the end. Now, the door itself isn't actually the important part, but rather the important part is what it says above it. Nebula 5. Now, what I find most interesting about this cutscene is the fact that it doesn't actually have a lot to do with the direct Vanguard story, but rather towards the zombies side of things. Because if you look at Nebula 5 gas, what this is the predecessor to Nova 6. If you don't know what Nova 6 is, basically it's the gas in zombies that causes zombies. And as far as Nebula 5 goes, at this point, we're starting to get an idea as to what this is. If it's the predecessor to Nova 6 gas, it probably does something relatively similar. And that's what we see towards the end of this cutscene. However, there is one more important part of this cutscene. So basically, the next part of this is just a long walk down a hallway, beating up some Nazis, and by the end of it, they get to what we can call the boss character, who is sitting behind the desk with his hand on basically a detonation button. And the important part is what he says.
Long live the Fourth Reich!
So what the Fourth Reich is referring to is basically the premise of the campaign, where Freisinger establishes the Fourth Reich after Hitler dies, kind of a new power to overrule Germany and things along those lines. In this, we see him kind of take over, but by the end of the campaign, he dies. But essentially what this cutscene is telling us is that no, it is not over. The Fourth Reich is still being held, and that is who we are fighting against.
But from the ashes shall rise our vision for something greater. To the Fourth Reich.
So then through the rest of the cutscene, we kind of get to see how the Nebula 5 gas actually works. The bomb goes off, our heroes escape, and then behind them, a bunch of the Nazis turn into, well, Nazi zombies. And then as far as this goes, this is again the predecessor to the Nova 6 gas, and we see how that works. We are rescued by Butcher, he has a tank, we get out of there. That is basically how the rest of the cutscene goes. In that, there's really not a lot of implications to the overall Vanguard storyline. And this, once again, I believe is a writing problem or a marketing problem. I'm not exactly sure. If we look back at Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare, as the seasons came out, the story for our main characters progressed. In Modern Warfare, we got to see how Task Force 141 is put together, the addition of Simon Ghost Riley, Alex returning, things along those lines. And then in Black Ops Cold War, we saw Adler and how his story progressed with the bad guy of Stitch. In both circumstances, they presented us with a bad guy and how our main characters progressed after this and the story built. What they are doing in Vanguard is every single season introducing new characters and not progressing the story of any individual characters or putting out there any sort of bad guy. And because of this, no one gives a crap about the story of Call of Duty Vanguard. And I think this is a very, very poor way of getting us invested in this storyline, is by just introducing new characters, showing them for a season, and then moving on with the next story in the next season. Just my opinion, wanted to get it out there. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'll do a full video on this one, a comparison between the different stories between Modern Warfare, Cold War, and Vanguard. If that's something you're interested in, hit the like, let me know down in the comments. But that's all we have for today. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are